welcome back. It's great to see you again.
You too.
Well, first off, I have some good news for you. After reviewing the results of your x-rays and all the tests that we did on you, I feel really confident that what you have is treatable with chiropractic care. So the good news is you're in the right place at the right time. And now, since what you have is a chiropractic problem, there's a few important facts about chiropractic that I want to share with you. And the first, you probably remember from the video we had you watch. It's that chiropractic's not new, it's not experimental, it's been around for over 100 years, successfully treating issues just like yours. And chiropractic is now so successful and popular that it's the second largest healing profession in the Western world. WebMD actually did a study on chiropractic, and they followed 2 million patients around over a 4-year time frame and found that chiropractic care has a 95% satisfaction rate with its patients. 95%. In the world of healthcare, you can't get better statistics than that, right?
Agreed.
And so you should feel really confident that you've come to the right choice for the health issue that you have. And then the other important fact that I like to share is that chiropractic is natural. And that's important because our world today has become very drug dependent, but it's always better to rely on our body's own natural healing capacities before we turn to drugs. And I don't know if you've ever thought about how your body heals itself, but even if you take a simple cut on your finger, you get that cut and your body automatically starts stopping the bleeding, putting that cut back together, and within a few short days, you don't even realize that cut was even there, right?
Right.
And so this healing capacity is controlled by a system in our bodies called the central nervous system. And it knows better than we do what it needs to be healthy. And when we remove all the nerve interference, we allow our bodies to better diagnose itself and better heal itself. So that's why natural should always be our first choice before we turn to drugs with the harmful side effects and risks for addiction. There is a place for drugs, but it should be a last resort, not a first.
Right.
And now I want to talk about what brought you in here today. And so your issue didn't start overnight, right? It didn't start when the pain started, and pain is usually the last thing to manifest when issues like yours arise. This has been building up over time, and it's accumulation of all the events in your life, and honestly, it probably started during childbirth. And anybody who's witnessed childbirth knows the amount of pressure that a baby's head, neck, and spine goes through during that birthing process. And it doesn't stop there either. Think about all the falls and spills and accidents you have as a kid or as a teenager growing up. It's a wonder any of us live past 5 years old, right? With all of those traumas.
Yeah.
And yet all of that goes untreated. So the point is, you've needed this care since you were young, and it could have saved you from the condition that you're in now. So this is just something to keep in mind if you ever plan on having kids in the future. They're probably going to live to be 100 years old, and you want them to have the best mobility the whole time they're alive. But now I want to talk about the lifestyle that you live. Now, it is impossible for me to know the number of improper lifting techniques or physical traumas that you've had throughout your time alive. And that's why I say it's not just one event that caused this. You have years of wear and tear. That's with absolutely no prevention, no care, no efforts to offset all of that wear and tear. And so, as an example, what would happen if you never brushed your teeth? From the time you were born until now, what condition would they be in?
You probably wouldn't have any.
Exactly. You have years of wear and tear and tissue damage and nerve damage that you've virtually left untreated. And since it's taken years to come on, it's not going to go away with just one adjustment or one good week of adjustments. This is going to take time. And I like to relate it, what would happen if you gained a bunch of weight over a 10-year time frame and tried to lose it all in 10 days?
Wouldn't work out.
It's not possible. It takes more time than that, and the same is true with our care here. But we're going to talk more about this timing part here shortly. First, I want to go over the results of all of the exams we did on you. And so your body has been pushed and pulled out of alignment so much, it's causing you less flexibility, it's causing you pain and irritation, and it's pinching and swelling the nerves that flow out from the individual bones of your spine. And so these bones are called vertebra, and when they get misaligned, it's called a subluxation. And so this chart here shows some of the different things that can occur with subluxations in different areas of your body. And the reason so much of your health is affected by this is because your nerves flow from your brain to all parts of your body and all the organs that are there. And so this is how your body knows how to heal and function. And so if we look here, you came in here with low back pain. Look at some of the problems that are associated with that. Pain in the legs, lower abdomen pain. Sounds a lot like your issues, right?
Yeah.
And so you can see that subluxations cause more than just neck pain or back pain. They cause dis-ease throughout the whole body. And when we get you adjusted, we're going to remove your pain first and foremost, but you're also going to feel better overall. Any questions there?
Not that I can think of.
All right, so there are 4 phases of spinal degeneration as shown here. And it's just like with any other health condition, the longer you let it go without getting it treated, the worse it gets. So take cancer, for example, because almost everybody knows something about cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It gets worse the longer it goes, right?
Right.
And so we want to prevent any future stages of spinal degeneration from happening now. And so right now you're in phase 2 of spinal degeneration. So we're going to take a look at your x-rays here so you can see why. And so this view is your hips from the back. So left is on left, right is on right. And you can see you have a high left hip going on here. That's causing a compensatory curve going on in your low back. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So we want to work on evening out those hips to straighten out that back. And this view here is your neck from the side. And so we want your curve to look like this, and yours is pretty straight. So we need to work on getting that curve back into your neck, because for every degree forward, it adds 5 pounds of pressure that your neck and shoulder muscles have to hold up. So your body's doing a lot more work than it needs to. Okay, any questions there?
Nope.
All right, so I am going to circle the phase you are in right now, just so you can take it home and show your family, because you can't take these x-rays home with you, okay?
Okay.
Now, I think we've spent enough time talking about the cause of the problem. Let's talk about a solution. And so the solution to your problem is a series of chiropractic adjustments. And so we're going to start scheduling you out and adjusting you. And I want you to know exactly what's going on during these adjustments, since you can't physically see it. And so there are 3 things that are happening. The first is that we're removing that nerve interference so that your body has 100% capacity to heal itself from all the pain and sickness you're in. The second is that we are removing that nerve interference so your body also has 100% capacity to prevent future pains and sicknesses. So you're not going to get as sick in the future. And then the third is that when we remove that nerve interference, it's going to help your future performance. It's going to help your musculoskeletal system better defend against all the wear and tear you put on it. And now we're going to start adjusting you. Your spine's been misaligned for so long that it considers that misalignment to be normal. And so we need to retrain your muscles in your spine to remember the proper alignment as its new normal. And so as I adjust you, your body's going to want to go right back into its normal position right away. And so it's kind of like 3 steps forward and 2 steps backwards. But we'll keep adjusting you until your body remembers that proper alignment. And so I've divided your care plan into 3 different phases. The first is pretty obvious, pain relief. I want to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. And so this is different for everybody. Everybody responds differently. But for you, I have you coming in 2 times a week for the first 4 weeks. And after the end of those 4 weeks, I feel confident that you're going to be out of pain and feeling pretty good. And you're probably going to think, problem solved. But Chloe, let me tell you, that is not the case. Your body is in a fragile state right now where any wrong lift or turn could cause your pain to come back again or even make it worse, and then we'd have to start all over. So that's why the second phase of our care, the stabilization phase, is even more important. So for this phase of care, I have you coming in 1 time a week for the next 12 weeks. And by the end of those 12 weeks, after the many cases I've seen like yours, I feel confident that you're going to be stabilized. And we'll also be doing progress exams after each phase of care, just to make sure you're progressing how I think you should be and you're ready for that stabilization phase of care, right?
Okay.
And so once we do get you stabilized, then we'll do another progress exam and make sure you're ready for wellness care. And so wellness care is super important because you don't stop doing all the things that cause the misalignments in the first place, right?
Right.
You don't stop working or stressing. And so the difference here is that we're here to make sure it never becomes an issue again. So I like to relate it, what if you cleaned your teeth? It would be awesome if your teeth stayed clean, right?
Right.
But then you'd have to never eat again, and we don't want that to happen. So wellness care works the same way. We're here to make sure that those misalignments don't prevent you from doing all the things you love doing. And so the timing and frequency of our care is essential to get you feeling your best. And so our goal here is wellness care. Wellness is always better than sickness care. Prevention is always better than overhaul. And so in order for us to reach this wellness phase, I'm going to need 2 things from you. The first, I'm going to need you to follow through with our care plan to a T. I don't need you to miss any appointments because that'll set us back. The second is that I have a How to Stay Young class that all of our new patients come to. And the 2 times I have this week is Mondays at 7 a.m. or Thursdays at noon. Which can I expect you to attend?
Thursday at noon.
All right, perfect. At the end of our appointment here, Chloe's going to come in and she's going to get you scheduled out and also sign you up for that How to Say Young class.
Okay.
Make sure you bring your family, friends. You can absolutely bring guests. This is great information that you guys have never heard before and you will really enjoy.
Okay.
All right, so if you don't have any questions, I'm going to sign here stating that I went over all of this with you and gave you my best recommendations of care. And now I'm going to have you sign here stating that you understand all of this information and will make every effort to comply.
Okay.
Perfect. So if you don't have any more questions for me, I'm ready to get started if you are.
Yep, sounds good.
Perfect.